Hi guys, how you doing? So today we're going to take a look at a skill that you should already know, one we've definitely done before, but we're going to give ourselves a bit more practice. This is on taking a percentage. Yeah. So let's see if I can share my screen with you here. There we go. So today's lesson, taking a percent. And there we go. My fancy little GIF in there. So there we go. What is a percentage? And a percentage just means out of 100. So it's a way of thinking about how much of something you have. And we can write this in a few different ways. Maybe the most common way, something you'll see a lot, is just 25, and then this symbol here, a symbol we're probably all pretty familiar with. And we'd say that's writing it as a percentage. And you can see sometimes I get pretty lazy about how carefully I do that symbol, but I'll try to be a little bit more thoughtful about it. We might just write it like this. We could say 25% and just write it using words. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's other ways too. And I know we covered this earlier in the course, but it's, easy to forget about that, and maybe we need a little practice. So in addition to those, another common way you're going to see a percentage expressed is as a fraction, because percent means out of 100. And if percent means out of 100, then we can write it as a fraction out of 100. 25 out of 100 is the same as saying 25%. In French, percent just means of 100. So we may write this as a fraction. And if you actually were to do that fraction, 25 out of 100, and calculate it, a fraction means to do division. So we can do that. 25 divided by 100, not by 10, by 100, is 0.25. The last way we can show a percentage is as a decimal. And these are all ways of expressing the same fraction. So saying 25% in words is the same thing as writing that symbol right there, which is the same thing as writing the fraction 25 over 100, which is the same thing as writing the decimal 0.25. They're just different ways of saying the same thing. So which one do we use? Well, it depends on what you're doing. There's a time for each of them. That's why we have all of them. What I would say is in this class, most often you'll see either the percentage form or you'll see the decimal form. And I would say the percentage form is probably easier to understand. We naturally look at that and we go like, oh yeah, I know what 25% is, sort of intuitively. But the decimal form is easier to do math with. And for that reason, we tend to work with the decimal form more often than we work with the percentage form. Though again, you're going to see all of these for sure in your life. Now, just like we showed up here, if you want to turn a decimal into a percent, we just have to divide. And specifically, we divide by 100. Because percent means out of 100. So if we want to turn 23 into a decimal, that's no big deal. We'd say 23% divided by 100 equals, and if you can do that in your head, great. You may have been taught by teachers along the way different tricks for dividing by 100, for converting, fractions into decimals. That's great, but if you're like me and you want to just do it on the calculator to be sure, you'll never go wrong, do it on the calculator. And here we get 0.23. And that's all. So now, you can try these ones down here. So if you try these ones out, give it a go. And if you need any help with those, no worries. You can actually highlight here and get the answer. But you can also watch a little video here where I walk through how we got the answers.